properties of division of integers. The properties are closure property, commutative property, associative property, division with 0, division with 1 and division with -1. So let us start the closure property. The closure property tells us that when you are dividing two integers, the answer, the quotient you can say may belong to integers or may not belong to integers. Let us take some examples for this. Let's say you are dividing 30 with 5. What do you get? When you are dividing 30 with 5, you get 6, which is a integer. Good. Next is if you divide -5 with 30. What do you get? -5 upon 30 giving us -1/6. Now please see, -1/6 is not an integer. This is forming a rational number. So that means the division of two integers may give you an integer and may not give you an integer, right? So that was the closure property. The next is the commutative property. In the commutative property, we have the division order. If you divide the first integer with the second one, it will not come equal to the division of second with the first one. Let us check this. Say for example, you want to do 10 divided with 2 and on the other side you would have 2 divided with 10, right? Let us check. What is 10 divided with 2? It is 10 upon 2. What is 2 divided with 10? That is 2/10. If you solve this, you would get 5 and on the other side you would get 1/5, which are not equal to each other. That means the division of integers can be concluded as non-commutative. Next we have the associative property. The associative property is telling us that the division of two integers in such a way that further the answer is divided with another integer will not be equal to if the order is changed. Let us check this also. Let's say for example, we are doing 2 or let's say 10 divided with 5 divided with 1. And on the other side we would have 10 divided with 1 divided with 5 divided with 1. Now let's check the answers for these. What will be 10 divided with 5? It would be 10 upon 5 divided with 1 equal to 10 divided by 5 over 1. So what do we get on left hand side? We get 2. 2 divided by 1 is 2, whereas 10 divided with 5 is also going out to be 2. So that means, please check, when 10 is divided with 5, you got 2 and 2 divided with 1 give you 2, right? Because 1 2 is 2. On the other side, if you have 10 divided with 5 divided with 1, you would get 5 divided with 1 as 5 and 5 2s will come as 2 only. So that means here the mark has been made wrong. That should be rather equal, right? The next is the division with 0. When you are dividing any integer with 0, as we discussed, any number divided with 0 is not defined in maths. So that means when you are dividing any integer with 0, it will be not defined. Whereas if you divide 0 with any integer, the answer would be 0. We have done so many examples for this. Let's say you do 24 divided with 0. This will be not defined. But if you do 0 divided with 24, the answer would be 0. Next we have the division with 1. Anything or particularly integers over here, any integer divided with 1 will give you the same integer because we are dividing that value in one part only. So that will give us the same answer, right? So anything or any number divided with 1 will give us that integer only. The next is division with -1. Now if you have an integer divided with -1, if your integer is positive, your answer will be negative, right? If you have taken up a positive integer divided with -1, you would get a negative integer. But if you take a negative integer and divided with -1, you would get a positive integer. Let's check this out. It's going to be very interesting. Let's say you are taking 2 divided with minus 1, and on the other way you would take minus 2 divided with minus 1. Now please pay attention on the examples that I have taken. I have taken up 2 and minus 2. Here 2 is a positive integer, whereas minus 2 is a negative integer, and I am dividing both of them with minus 1. What is the answer that I am going to get? Let's check that out. 2 upon minus 1 is going to give us minus 2, whereas if you do minus 2 upon minus 1, that would give you plus 2. Right? As we discussed, the answers on division will give a negative and positive integer. Here also we have got a negative and a positive integer. So that means that the laws that have been written over here are true. So this was about the properties of division of integers.